welcome to the It Doesn't Hold Up podcast. We review and reevaluate all things we remember fondly from our childhood and years prior to see if they still hold up, and more often than not, they probably don't. I'm Stuart Shepherd, along with my co-host and good friend Michael Smith. Smith, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, Stu. How are you?
Well, Smith, there's something strange in my neighbourhood.
It's like a nonce or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm going to call the cops.
You definitely should.
Yeah, cool. Right. Anyway, moving on. Before we get into this week's nomination, this week's episode, I just want to talk about last episode's feedback, which was Casper, the movie from 1995. Now, we got some strange feedback this time, Smith. So, the first one was, I guess this person hadn't even watched their episode yet, was, am I going to be upset again? Yes.
Not by me.
Not by you. No, you rather enjoyed that.
I did.
We got never saw this all the way through back in the day, even though it sounds okay. I'm probably not going to watch it as an adult. Yeah, good advice.
I mean, it's fair, right? Like, if you're a grown adult watching this for the first time, you need to have a long, hard look at yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a particular fondness for Casper, but unless you're 85 years old, I can't understand why you would.
No, and again, like we were saying, it's not like something they've regurgitated for modern audiences, like a new cartoon that's every
No.
Saturday morning or something. No, it's just kind of gone away. Someone gave us the feedback, yes and no. I presume that means yes and no, it kind of holds up. I presume
Or
so.
just playing back what we said.
Yeah, maybe you're the yes and I'm the no.
Just summarising it for people who can't be bothered.
Yeah. And this bit of feedback popped me, right? Because I'm not sure if it's a threat or not. They said that, please know that I'll be back on every video you post. Okay.
I think that might be a positive.
I
Do
hope
we have
so.
do we have a fan? Or it depends.
Someone enjoys
If,
our
if you
work.
are if you are that person, could you please clarify
Yeah.
whether or not that was intended as fandom or you're going to be stalking us? Because whereas I would like people to send me their hate mail, please don't turn up at my door.
No, don't. I'll better stop publishing your address. Right. So anyway, yes, that was the feedback we got for Casper. Did you receive any supplemental feedback?
I didn't. However, what I did see was a news headline the other day. I don't know if you've seen this. It was doing the round on Facebooks and such. Whereas Dan Aykroyd has confirmed that his appearance in Casper is canon to Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Pursuant to today's conversation, it is actually considered part of the Ghostbusters world.
Well, I assumed it would be because unless they're kind of making out that it is him, but it isn't him, it very clearly says stance on his jumpsuit. So I was like, well, yeah, of course it is. So there you
Yeah.
go.
No, there we go.
Although that did spark the debate for years, like, is there going to be Ghostbusters 3? And we never quite got it. We just kind of got the requel legacy sequels, whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame. And then
But it's an
Harold
interesting
Ramis
question.
died.
He died before the
Mm.
legacy suit. It's an interesting sort of thought as we head into this episode is has a franchise got such committed fandom and such love when there's only really one truly great film
Mm.
in that franchise? Because I'll defend Ghostbusters 2 up and down, but it's not
Oh, me
the
too.
best film in the world, right? It's not. It's good. It's a good, solid sequel,
It's
but it's
very
not
good.
a patch on the first one.
No, it's not outstanding. It's not flawless, but it's a very good film, and I'll die on that hill because I love
It's
Ghostbusters
a
too.
it's a rerun. It's like let's do the greatest hits of the first one. Just do it again. Just do it again.
I I think it's its own film. It's got a different style. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Ghostbusters 2. We are here to talk about the real Ghostbusters,
The
which was
real
the
Ghostbusters,
real
not the
and
fake ones.
not the fake one, mind. And yeah, this is only actually the second cartoon we've covered. So I was very, very happy that Smith picked this because this cartoon, I loved this as a
Hmm.
kid. This was my jam, right? I absolutely love this. And we'll talk about this in length about like toys
Oh,
and merchandise and whatever else. But yeah, so brief synopsis. This came out after Ghostbusters 1. So it ran for 7 seasons, I believe, from 1986 until 1991.
didn't it?
We,
Very, very inconsistent low number of episodes per season.
yeah, it is very, very odd.
Very odd. Yeah.
It's interesting we didn't get it until 1988 in the UK, whereas America got it in 1986. So I believe my first introduction to Ghostbusters probably would have been the cartoon. So I think I would have watched the cartoon in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And then I believe my parents took me to see Ghostbusters 2 at the cinema, which I spoke about a lot on this podcast. And then I
Mm.
think Ghostbusters 1 was on telly, and that's when I would have watched it and stuff. So yeah, so that is the synopsis. It is a cartoon version, very toned down version. There's no smoking, there's no swearing, there's no sexual innuendos. It's just good, clean family fun of the Ghostbusters busting ghosts in 20-minute episodes. So there you go.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think I mean, almost certainly I would have seen this first before I saw any of the films. And I think my first exposure to Ghostbusters, and I almost certainly have talked about this on the past, is the old 1 and 2 VHS set where you had
Oh yes.
Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 on the same VHS with a couple of weird episodes of black and white Batman in the middle for some reason. I
Yeah,
don't make
and
make the time up. Who knows?
yeah, and all those amazing TriStar trailers like Short Circuit and Willow and all that sort
Yeah,
of stuff
yeah,
I
yeah,
spoke
yeah, yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. But I
And
almost certainly would have seen this first, and I definitely had VHSs of this when I was younger, which I will come back to in a little while.
yeah, we're jumping ahead of it. So yeah, so this came out, like we said, 1986 in America, 1988 in England, ran until 1991. But because this is a TV series, not a movie, that makes our scene setting a bit all over the place. So, Smith, what are we doing for scene setting?
So I thought for scene setting, given that this was a cartoon and given this will speak directly to our childhoods, I'd jump into the merchandise that surrounded Ghostbusters,
Oh
the
yeah.
real Ghostbusters, and a little discussion around the kind of toys that we might have had when we were growing up, specifically the Ghostbusters toys. But if you'd care to mention any others that you think bear special mention, please by all
Hmm.
means do.
Yep.
So the toy line was developed by Kenner,
They
which
made the
split
best
in
toys. They
they
made the
really
best
did make the
toys.
best toys. Split into two different types of toy. You had either the action figure range and you had the wearables range, so the stuff that you could play with as though it was a prop from the film. They were released in waves. I think it was something like 8 waves of figures between 1986 to 1991. Um, it really wouldn't have affected us that much because we obviously wouldn't have been old enough to have these toys until we were, what, 7 or 8?
Something like that.
By which point every single thing would have been available.
Mhm.
Um, do you, before I get into some of the ones that I would like to talk about, have any specific toys that you remember owning from Ghostbusters when you were a kid? And this might give away how spoiled I was as a child, but you crack on.
Now, I didn't have to do a lot of research this because I follow a lot of like retro stuff on
Oh,
Facebook and
yeah, yeah.
Instagram, and every now and again, an advert or something will pop up for a Ghostbusters toy, and I was like, "Oh my God, I had that!" And when I really sat back and thought about this, I think the most amount of toys I've ever had, apart from wrestling toys, was Ghostbusters toys. So I can tell you,
Hmm.
I had the fire station,
I had the
I
fire
had
station.
I had
The
Ecto
fire
One,
station, if we just like go one by one, the fire
yeah, yeah,
station was a really shit toy.
yeah. When
Like
you
it was
think
just
about
a
it,
fire, it's like a building with a few like walkways and a pole that had a
but
little spinny platform.
but no ladders. So in reality, it's like, how are they supposed to get from one platform to another unless you physically put them there? But yeah, it had the thing because they had holes in their feet, so you'd put them on the platform and then you'd move the switch, and then
Yeah,
they'd go around in a spiral and they'd go down the bottom. At the top of the roof, it had the squares, so you could pour the
yeah,
ecto goo in, so it'd go all over the Ghostbusters or whoever else you put
yeah.
in
And
there.
then it would get in the carpet, and your dad would go, "Shut up, what have you done?"
Yes, yes. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that
and
that
that ecto goo used to a free toy used to be found
yeah,
inside
little
as
free
well.
plastic
Yeah.
toy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was cool. And also the fire station as well had the containment unit and you could open it up and you could put the ghost in it and then seal it up
Yeah.
on top. So yes, yes. So one by one, I had fire station. Did you have the fire
Yes,
station?
I had the fire station.
Cool. Right. Secondly, I had Ecto 1.
I had two Ecto ones because I drove the first one down the stairs and it broke.
Oh no.
I got to the top of the stairs and just like wheeled it out, like, whoa, we're escaping. It just smashed to a million pieces when it hit the floor. Like, I'm going to need another one of those, mother.
Well, you're lucky you got another one. But yeah. Yeah, Ecto 1.
Smash that and all.
Yeah, a
Did
lot of
you
this
have Ecto 2 or 3?
I had no, I didn't have Ecto 2 or 3. I had the Volkswagen, the yellow one. You pressed it, it turned into a praying mantis.
Yeah,
I had that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The VW bug. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't have the other one, which was like a weird sort of like kind of net trap thing. No, that was Ecto 2 or 3. I couldn't remember that. I didn't have that.
2 was the helicopter, 3 was the kind of trappy thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
No, I
didn't
didn't have that
have
then.
them, but I did play with them. So I must
Mhm.
have either they had them at a friend's house or they had them at school or some. I had them. I played with them at some point.
Yeah. I shared a lot of these toys with my brother, even though he's like 4 years older than me. He loved Ghostbusters as well. But we had a Mr. Stay Puft who was quite big. He was bigger than a lot of
Ah,
the other
I never had a Stay
Ghostbusters.
Puft. I
He
never
was
had a
great.
Stay Puft. I don't
But
think.
because he was a good size, you bought him as a giant. So when you put the Ghostbusters next to him, he was a threat. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's cool.
yeah,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
a Slimer that he came with a piece of pizza or watermelon that was bitten out of, which was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I had a Slimer.
I mean, to be honest, we'll be here all bloody day, but essentially, I had all the Ghostbusters, but not a complete set. So I had Egon and Peter Venkman, as the
Yeah.
original, the brown and their green suit. But then as they went on, they got more advanced. Like I had the Winston when you pressed his arm, and his mouth all span around and went, "Ugh," like that. And the Ray when you pressed his arm, and his goggles went up and that sort of thing. And the Egon when you pressed his arm, and his tie went, and his head went up, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, those are the Fright Features Ghostbusters.
That's
They
it.
came in part of the later ranges. I had the Egon, and I still have the Egon somewhere from that. Not here, otherwise I'd show you, but I did have it. And I think every single person I knew had exactly the same thing. One, the tie broke
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the
My
tie
tie
was
broke.
flimsy as
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
and two, the arm came off.
yeah.
So I've
Same
got
shit.
him.
Yeah,
Weirdly, it's not the arm that makes the head go up. The arm that makes the head go up is still there. It's the other arm fell off. I don't know. So I've got
yeah.
a one-armed Egon somewhere
Me too.
with his white and red natty outfit. I have a Peter Venkman still somewhere in the original line. Peter Venkman. I also had, I believe I had a Ray, but I don't have the Ray anymore. I've still got the Peter somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to
Um,
think.
I had a load of the ghosts as well, so I'm just looking down some of the more popular ones here that I either had or encountered at other people's houses. There was the Tombstone Tackle Quarterback,
No,
who's
I've
the big,
seen him, but I didn't have him. Yeah.
the postman, the
I had
male
the mailman.
mailman. I had the
Yes.
mailman.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
him.
The
The
toilet,
granny. Did you have the
fearsome
granny?
flush. I didn't have the granny. No, I didn't have the granny.
Hmm.
The fearsome flush toilet that opened up and ate it was a
Hmm.
bit rubbish. It was just a toilet with a mouth.
Yeah.
The VW bug, which you had. I didn't have the VW
Hmm.
bug. There's a lumberjack.
Nope, didn't have him.
There was a lumberjack that turned into. There was a werewolf, like a werewolf with a tie. It was one of the later ones. I didn't have that,
Hmm.
but a friend of mine did. I had a biker cop, which was like a an American highway patrolman, where if you press the back, the front bit flipped down and it was a skeleton.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, so that was very cool. I also had a ghost zapper. Now this was a projector.
Oh my God, yes, I had that. Oh, Smith, no, you've got on mute. You've got on mute, Smith.
Oh dear, sorry about
He was
that.
getting way too excited talking
I got
about
way
the
too
Zappa.
excited. Yeah, so
Yeah,
the ghost zapper, where you projected pictures of a ghost onto the wall. It's literally minutes of fun.
yeah, it was like a little circle disc that you
Yeah,
put in,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it? And then
You
you chose
turned it.
each one. Yeah.
And
Oh
there
yeah.
was also the ghost popper that I didn't have, but that was like the pro. I had the proton pack. I had the proton pack.
Yep, me too.
So kind of the werewolf proton pack with the Nerf proton
That's it.
beam that span
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Um, there was the ghost popper, which was basically like a Nerf gun. But you put in larger Nerf canisters that popped out. I didn't have that. And there was the ghost splasher, I think it was, which is the water one.
Oh
I think it
damn,
was
I
called
don't remember that one. And you
water
never had the
zapper. Yeah,
trap, you said. We spoke about this a lot. You never
I
had the trap.
didn't. It's the one thing that I always wanted
The trap's wicked
when I
because you
was a
could
kid
clip
that
it
I
onto the proton pack as well. There was a hook for it.
yeah, I had a friend who had one and I was very, very jealous and he kind of slid it on the floor and you press the
Yep,
button because it was an air pressure thing. It
that's
forced it
it.
open. Yeah.
And if you put the
No.
tiny little ghost on top, it'd open and the ghost would fall inside. Yeah. Those toys were fucking brilliant. They were
Yeah.
so good. And they just kept on, you know, releasing them like series after series after series. And they were so inventive and so innovative and just so much fun to play with. Yeah, I loved it. I
So
loved all those toys.
the other thing is they've actually re-released quite a few of the ranges recently, especially those Fright Features ones with the pop. You can
Hmm.
actually buy them now. They've released a new wave of those. It's kind of the retro waves. You can get the old ones. Um, there's also a toy company called Mondo that have re-released or released a Peter and an Egon in the style of the cartoon, but sort of a more modern figure. They look really, really, really cool. And if I was in the habit of buying action figures as a grown adult, which I am, I might avail myself of one of those at some point.
Oh, I mean, we've not been for a few years, but I love it when we go to Comic Con and you see those stands selling those old toys and you see all
Yeah,
those old Ghostbusters toys. I'm like, oh, it's a trip down memory lane. It's
feel my
outstanding.
feel my hand sliding into my wallet.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny as what you mentioned about the Ghostbusters one and two pack on video. And I've
Yeah,
mentioned this before. There is a leaflet in there to get like 50p off of your real Ghostbusters toy.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I've still
yeah,
got
yeah.
it. I've still got it inside the video because it just gives me a nice warm fuzzy feeling. But
I
yeah.
have some. I do have a couple of go. I mean, I can see your Lego Ecto one up
Oh
there
yes.
behind you. Yes, I've got that somewhere. I also have a Ghostbusters 2 Egon
Mhm.
for some reason, and a Vigo the Carpathians.
Now, see, I never had the movie merch. I only ever had real Ghostbusters merch, so I've never had movie
Well, the
merch.
movie merch is all released much, much later. So these
Yeah,
are
I
things
never
I
got that.
bought as an adult. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Any other sort of like toy lines from films that lived up, do you think, to the Ghostbusters or the real Ghostbusters? Any kind of TV or film toy range? Now, I had several different ones. So, like, I had a couple of Stargate action figures. They were pretty cool. And I had some Jurassic Park ones. They were quite cool
Mhm.
because they had bits that kind of came off them.
Yeah, they
So
were
I've got
cool.
kind of those knocking around somewhere. Any that you remember?
The two that stick out in my mind, right? I had a shitload of Robin Hood Prince of Thief one. So I had the
Yeah,
whole,
I've seen these. I never had
yeah,
any Robin
I
Hood.
had it. I had the whole tree house. I had some battering ram thing. I had some catapult that shot a net off. I had two Robin Hoods for some reason because one had a bow and arrow and one had a crossbow.
All
Um,
right.
I had that, and I loved those. They were great toys. And the other one that stands out in my mind, and I bought so many different series of them that came out, was Terminator 2. I had so many of those toys. They were
Yeah, I did.
awesome toys. I even had that one where you put the skeleton in and you put all the goo in, and he comes
Oh,
out, he's got skin on him. It's so wicked.
how many times was that? Like, was the goo reusable, or was it like one use and you had to chuck it away?
It was powder, and then you mixed it with water, so it made like a paste, and then you poured it in, and then but you had to get the consistency right, otherwise it'd be fucked. But you could buy replacement powder, a bit like you could buy replacement ectoplasm for
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
it
But
kind of
eventually
feels
they
like
just
that
stopped
get
selling it.
expensive. Yeah, that get
Yeah,
expensive quick.
yeah, but
Um,
but it was real fun.
I've things I've like so I yeah I never had the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, but I've seen like the play sets because they had like the
Yep,
Sherwood Forest play
that's
set.
right. That's what I had.
Um,
Yeah,
I had a Dustin Hoffman as Hook.
I remember the Hook toy range. Yeah,
I've got a Hook. I've got a
yeah,
Rufio somewhere.
yeah.
Rufio.
Rufio.
I something I found out later that existed that I didn't know at the time. Otherwise, I might have bought it. Was a Waterworld action figure range,
Oh wow, no, I didn't know about that.
which I would have very much enjoyed.
Wow. No, I mean we could spend an entire episode just talking about toys, and maybe we will. Maybe one day we'll have a
Maybe
whole
we will.
episode talk about
Maybe we
toys.
will.
But
But
yeah,
that's enough for now.
but no, but the toy in summary for me, the toys that I played with the most was Ghostbusters toys, wrestling toys, and my Terminator 2 toys. Like, I absolutely love that. Hours and hours and hours of fun just recreating stories with them all.
Some of those wrestling toys, especially if they're carded, go for a lot of money now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
none of the things I own are still in their packets.
No, 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 no. And if I do now, it's just stuff that they've re-released in recent years. Oh, it's not worth much now. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I've got kind of a retro mankind that looks like
yeah,
the
yeah.
old Hasbro ones. Yeah,
Cool. Well, we've kind of touched on it already. So I guess, yeah, how old were we when we first started watching the real Ghostbusters?
but I'm going to go on a limb here and say 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think so. So I think if we got it in 1988, I would have watched it immediately. And it was probably my parents who probably said, "Oh, they've made a cartoon of this good film. You should watch it," type thing.
Yeah,
Because it was on CITV, and CITV was always on, you came home from school or I guess nursery when we were younger or whatever, and we'd have it on. And then because of that, it came Ghostbusters 2 came at the right time because it was in between many seasons. So there's a lot of cross promotion. And
yeah.
Jesus, when Ghostbusters 2 came out, the promotion for that was insane. It was absolutely everywhere. And that is the first film I went to see at the cinema, and it scared the shit out of me.
It's quite scary. It's quite
Yeah.
intense for a kid. I mean, how old would you have been? What year was that?
89, I would have just
89. You'd
turned 5. That fucking bit when Janosch comes down to the sky is
been
burnt into my mind. Oh, that was so scary.
fucking 5-year-old to see Ghostbusters too. Yeah, that's bad parenting. Um, I,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, no, I didn't. I don't think so. But I do remember all of the Time merchandise. There was the Slimer in a can.
Yeah, that's it.
If you
Yeah.
recall Slimer in a can, I got those and they never worked.
No,
Never worked. Like you meant
no.
to, there was a can that had like a green gas inside, and you were meant to leave it. It was Burger King, I think. It was a Time Burger King.
I got a feeling it was Wimpy because Wimpy did a lot of cross
Wimpy.
prom. It might have been. For some reason, I got Wimpy in my, but you're right. It could be Burger King.
And you had to leave it in the sun to kind of heat up a little bit. And then you opened it in the dark and the green gas poured out and it did not work.
Nah, load of crap. And that sort of thing. If you had it now, you wouldn't dare open it. It's like, no, it's a collector's item. Leave it.
Yeah, it'd be worth something. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
kind of opened it, didn't do anything. I probably just chucked it away.
yeah.
Bloody
And,
waste.
and just going back to the cartoon, right? It ran for years. Like, even when it finished in 1991, it was still showing on CITV for years.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
even when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10, I was still watching it. I was always watching. Like some
Hmm.
episodes were just on rotation. Like, oh, I've seen that one. Oh, I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
Well, yeah, but when you've got that many episodes, like you've got 100 plus episodes running around rotation, you're going to just keep playing it. 'Cause why not?
Yeah,
And they're quite interchangeable. Unlike, you know, your He-Mans of this world, there isn't a single villain. There isn't a single plot thread that kind of follows through.
exactly.
It's a ghost of the week, so you could play them in any order. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the episodes that came out that tied in to the wider mythology can be played in any order because they just explain in flashback certain things like
Yep.
why does Slimer live with them? That's explained. Why do they look different? That's explained. It's because it's not because in the Real Ghostbusters universe, the film of Ghostbusters is the film of Ghostbusters, and they go to the set to see it
That's
being
right.
filmed. So it's yeah,
Very
they're
meta.
the real Ghostbusters. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. And then yeah, you mentioned you had videos. So I never had videos of it, but the two episodes you've chosen is because that was a
Yeah.
video that you own. So do you want to talk a bit about
Yeah,
that?
so yes, TriStar Columbia released the Hollywood Children's Collection series of tapes for Ghostbusters, and the one that are the real Ghostbusters, and the one that I had was Volume 9, which had these two episodes, and this is why I picked them, which are episodes let's see, 11 and 14, season 2. Completely random. And you look at the series that kind of the episodes that they collected on video, complete random. Like there is no like follow through. Why are these two on this tape? No, it's just these two episodes, bang, on they go. So that was the one I had. So I watched these two episodes again and again and again. And watching them now, again, for the first time in 30 odd years,
Yeah,
I
easily.
remembered so much of it, like so much of it, that it's unbelievable. Like I probably could have recounted
Yeah,
these episodes. Like there were images burnt into my mind.
yeah, yeah. That's what happens when you don't have stuff on demand. You just watch the same old tape over and over again when you're a
Well,
kid.
yeah, I mean, if I'd had the whole series, I probably would have watched all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I could probably say I couldn't tell you outside of these two any other episode that I've actually seen. Like a few, there are a few that ring a bell. I think there's one episode where they go inside the containment unit.
Oh, yeah, that
Um,
rings a bell. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I know that vaguely remember that. There's definitely one with Stay Puffed in.
Oh, Stay Puft's in a few
Vaguely,
of them. Yeah, yeah, he's in a
yeah,
few
I
of them.
vaguely remember seeing one with Stay Puffed, but
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
one with a haunted house, like a proper old school haunted house that I recall. But apart from that, I couldn't tell you specific episodes apart from these two.
Oh, there's a badass one I remember. It's a bit like Stranger Things. They go into like the underworld, and there's an alternative reality, and there are the Ghostbusters who are hunting the Ghostbusters. So instead of a ghost on the symbol, is a picture of Egon trapped in the red
Ah,
symbol like that. Yeah, that episode is great. That one's burning in the weird. Right, so the two episodes that are on Smith's video is
yeah.
Ain't Necessarily So and Doctor Doctor. So we're going to start with Ain't Necessarily So. So brief synopsis of this before we get into the detailed plot is the Ghostbusters are sent to outer space to the space platform at Galileo. They must capture a spooky ghost, and Peter Venkman is overjoyed about working under a government contract.
In Injustice, and he makes a number of jokes to that effect.
He does. Right. So, oh yeah, we've got to say, did you watch this on YouTube? Because that's where I watched the two
I did.
episodes.
I
Because they
did
were
watch it on
free.
YouTube.
All of the
Yeah,
episodes are on YouTube.
until
Not
you sent me the link, I was about to pay for them like
no,
a mug.
no. And I thought, is it going to be some weird letterbox format or some bullshit?
No,
Nope, nope. The whole episode is on there. So there you go.
perfectly great. Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind, that sort of came to my attention was this has the ad break things. Now, I wouldn't have had these on my VHS.
Right now, I've got a separate point about it. So let's get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. Okay.
cool, cool, cool. Right. So we get the absolutely awesome intro. It took me back immediately with the big fat ghost walking along the street, and then he goes into the symbol, and then the bell rings. And they all get in the
Yeah.
car, and then Slimer sexually assaults Janine. I'm like, what? It's
The
I'm
opening
like,
credits of this show are fucking next level great. Like they
yeah.
are iconic in their own right. I mean, it is the first instance as well of them using the Ghostbusters theme, which they will use
Mhm.
again and again and again and again and
Yeah.
again. I mean, they kind of had to have paid for it each time they used it, otherwise they'd have gone bankrupt. But it is like they will shoehorn the
Yeah.
Ghostbusters theme music in any chance they get.
Absolutely, yeah. And then when they get to their destination, which is down an alley, there's all the ghosts there, including Stay Puft. They all shoot
Yeah,
their guns at it. They go in the trap, and it comes up Ghostbusters, and then ting, the real by the side of it. Yeah, and then you're right. And then immediately we get an ad break. Well, hang on a minute. Now I know
yeah.
Americans are a bit weird with their ad breaks, right? Why would you have an ad break after the title credits?
So they do this all the time. I don't know if you've ever watched like an American network, watch TV on an American network. They will have the opening. If it's like a pre-credit sequence, they'll have the pre-credit sequence, then the credits, then an advert, then show the shows. Because by the time you've watched that, you're in, and they're not like they might lose you if they put it before the show. So what they then have is that the end of one show, so at the end of the credits of one show, it will lead straight into the next show without an ad break. So you're watching already started
Mm.
watching. So then the ad break comes then. So you're already in and you're already watching it. So you're not going to leave it. So yeah, and they do it right at the end as well. There's an ad break immediately before the end credits.
It makes no sense. Now, I when we it used to be on CITV, I don't remember this. I think they used to break up the episode in half, which makes
Yeah.
sense. And I think we might have got the oh, we'll be right back like that. But I don't
Is it the
remember that bit before.
Ghostbusters will return after these messages?
That's a spot on impression. Well, that's very good. That's very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I don't remember that at all. Possibly
No.
midway through, but certainly not before and after the credits. So yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I yeah. I wouldn't have had these on my VHS certainly. I think they'd have
Yeah,
bothered cutting them out. But yeah, yeah, it's good to watch as well. It's good, it's fun.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Cool. Right, so back to the episode. So we're in space for some reason, and we're on board the Starship Enterprise. No, sorry, the Galileo.
I mean, I've originally written down like, oh, that sounds a little bit like Chekhov
Yeah, I
from
was gonna. We meet
from
a Russian
Star
bloke
Trek.
called Chekhov. Sorry, Kirov.
Yeah, Kira, who sounds also suspiciously like Ray.
Yeah, yeah,
Suspiciously like Ray with a Russian accent.
yeah. The stereotypes in this episode are horrible. I'm like, oh no, oh no, 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 this
And then
isn't
you've
good.
got, yeah, they got suspiciously Star Trek looking insignia on their jump. Oh, no, look, there's Sulu and Uhura.
Yeah, Sulu. Not yeah. Oh, sorry.
Scotty,
So Scotty, who's yeah. So Sulu is Sato.
Sato,
Scotty is McTavish, and Ahura is Iroquois.
unpronounceable.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very, very Star Trek. Like, but then I've written that down, and then throughout the episode, they point it out
they
again and
do.
again, again. And then
Yeah,
when you think they haven't got a joke, they'll do it again, but like hammer it in just a little bit
yeah,
more.
yeah. I'm sure kids who are watching this probably don't even know what Star Trek is. Like,
I
what?
mean, by this point, that original series was 30 years old.
Yeah, they hadn't done the new generation yet. I don't think the next generation yet. But yeah,
No, not by the mid 80s. No, I don't think so.
no. Anyway, so some weird stuff's going on, and then McTavish goes to have a look, but Lieutenant we can't pronounce thinks she's seen a ghost, and then Tosh confirms this, and then cue the Ghostbusters being summoned because I think Sato goes, "Who are you going to call?" I was like, "Ugh, all right, why? Of course, why wouldn't you? Some shit's going weird on a
I
spaceship.
think
Why
what
wouldn't
you've
you call?"
forgotten to do there is an offensive Asian accent when you say who you're going
I'm not doing that.
to.
I'm not doing it.
You saw the trap I was laying, and you refused to fall into it,
I,
sir. I applaud you.
every
Um,
single time we've covered something that's a bit risque, I've not gone there. So no.
the I enjoy the fact that then you cut to the Ghostbusters firehouse, the car coming out, cut to Kate Canaveral. It's just like that's efficient.
Why did they need to take Ecto One there? Why? They're going into
Well,
space. I suppose that's all their equipment in it. So yeah,
also, also if you're going in space, what you haven't seen there is the bit that says 4 weeks later.
yeah. I've written down here. Hang on a minute. The
Hang on a minute.
Ghostbusters are qualified, medically cleared, and with ease can go to space. Just like that.
Not
Sure.
to mention what I've written down is how much would this cost?
But they're on a
How much
government
would
contract.
that was? Yeah, well, yeah.
Since when? Since when are they on a
I know
government
this is
contract?
immediately really, and I think what I've accidentally done here with these two episodes is pick two episodes with the least amount of actual ghosts in them.
Yeah, you've picked the two weirdest fucking episodes anyway, which may or may not sway my opinion of this, but yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So the space rocket goes up to space, and Garfield, sorry, Peter Venkman, is very happy about this. It's so distracting.
It's, he don't like Mondays or ghosts
No, he does not. But he likes government contracts. And
and
then,
lasagna.
and there's that. Well, who doesn't? Ray's worried about the equipment, but Egon has modified it, so all good. Well, what do you mean
Oh,
you've modified it? Modified it to do what?
yeah, I was modified it, but I'm not sure they'll work. All right, fine.
Pointless. On board the Galileo, the Ghostbusters meet the crew, and then Winston and Ray discuss if the crew look familiar. And I've written down again.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, they're off to find new life and new civilizations. This is a bit that made me laugh here, like really made me laugh. Like new life and new civilizations is clearly like the Star Trek, right? It's the
Yeah.
Star Trek, 5 year blah blah blah. And then they say, actually, it's our second day, and some high life has seeked us out. And then my dad just goes, seeked, and I don't know why it made me laugh, but it looked at me and goes, seeked.
I don't know. There's something that happens in the next episode as well that's fucking funny as well, just so out of place as well.
It's very, very odd line readings here.
Yeah, yeah,
What I would
totally.
say at this point is already into this, like the way the Ghostbusters are written is quite good. Like they're all written as individual characters. Like they've got a certain. It's not just they're not interchangeable. You couldn't have any one character
Oh
say
yeah,
the other character's line, and it just like which for this kind of kids TV show is pretty good. Like having defined clear roles, clear responsibilities, clear characterization, and kind of following it through in the episodes.
yeah. And you'll probably touch on it with your Smith trivia and stuff, but it is interesting as well how they didn't make them carbon copies of the movie. They're like,
No.
yeah, you can see he's Egon, but he's not because he's blonde.
Yeah.
But I mean, Peter doesn't look anything like Peter in the movie. Ray doesn't really look like Ray. Winston doesn't look like Winston. Janine
No.
kind of looks like Janine, like that, but it's different. They're their own people.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so the crew aren't sure what kind of ghost it is, but Egon detects the ghost nearby, but there is no psychokinetic energy accompanying it or some shit, so it isn't a real ghost. I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck is
Yeah,
it
that's
then?
the last time that comes. So that's not a thing after this. Like it is a ghost for all intents and purposes, but it's also not a ghost.
Yeah, which happens in the second episode, which is very similar, which is a bit odd. So maybe that's why they
Yeah,
group these two on the same video. So there you go.
perhaps.
Right, so the ghost then starts drawing power off of the spaceship, and then all throughout this, Venkman's making really shit jokes like maybe this ghost used to be a politician. I'm like,
I
it's not
mean, to be
fun.
fair, throwing in a little bit of social commentary in a kids show is not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but a
It's not
six-year-old's probably like,
funny.
"What's a politician?" Like this is what I mean. There are
No,
some
a
jokes
six-year-old be
which,
like, a 6-year-old be like, Ghostbusters.
yeah,
Maybe you should be a politician.
yeah, absolutely,
Plus Alien, plus Star Trek.
yeah, plus anything else. Right, McTavish shows the Ghostbusters where the ghost is, and it's a big, technically ugly orange bastard with multiple eyes and mouths. And I was like, all right, sure, why not? And they never really explained what it was doing there anyway. But I guess in these,
No, can you get ghosts in space?
if someone died on a ship, I don't know,
Well,
maybe.
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Then Egon starts going on about a load of science jargon, and then the ghost continues to drain energy from pipes, but they fire their packs at it, and it makes it bigger. And then the ghost starts fucking around with the gravity, so they'll start floating around. I thought, okay,
This is a bit where Egon says, "Oh, fascinating," and McTavish like, "You remind me of a former shipmate." I was like, "Oh, there's a Spock reference." Oh, that's. Well, hold on, they'll come back. They'll do it again later
no,
with less subtlety.
they are going to do that. Yeah.
And
Uh,
it's also a bit like the first of his Scottish sayings. But he's like, "Oh, the heather in the Highlands." Let's ask one of my Scottish friends whether that's a thing Scottish people say.
yeah. If you're a Scottish person and you're listening, please do clarify that point.
Also, the one he says later, "By the locks of Lomond, it's got him." Also, if you haven't seen this episode, the Scottish accent I just did there was better than the one that they're doing in the episode.
Yes, quite. I'd say it was quite genuine. Right,
No.
right. Then what happens? And then the gravity's restored as the ghost wants something else, i.e., their proton pack, so it starts attacking the Ghostbusters. And then they all run for their lives like cowards, and the
Yes.
animation looks so shit. It just looks so bad.
Yeah, they do spend a lot of just time just running away.
Yeah, fucking cowards. But I guess you've got proton packs which didn't work. What else are they supposed to do? Then what happens? Yeah, then Winston's grabbed and hoisted into the air, and then cue ad break. I was like, right, I'm all right with that. But Winston's in peril. Oh my God, what are the Ghostbusters going to do? Then you've got an ad break.
Yeah,
Okay, why not?
come back after those messages. Um,
Very good again. Very good again.
yeah.
Peter realizes they're missing Winston, and then Ray tells Winston to slip out of his proton pack. Bloody spell great.
Load of chicken with him. Leave the chicken. No, it's mine. My
um,
protein pack.
yeah. So he slips out of his proton pack, which he does, and then the Ghostbusters tell Kirov what's going on, but he's annoyed it's not dealt with yet. And then the lights go out as the life support system is being tapped into by the creature. There's so much going on. There's so much going on.
But then they managed to fix it and buy themselves 4 hours. So we now have a ticking clock. You've only got 4 hours until the life support runs out and you all die. And then he says something in Russian, but I don't know what it was and I couldn't be bothered to translate it.
No, and I'm sure it wasn't anyway. It's probably just gibberish. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and then luckily they have a spare proton pack for Winston because why not? They'll get back. Why would they have a spare proton pack?
Yeah, also,
Why?
where did they get it from? He's like, you got that proton pack? Yep. Where was it? Where were you keeping that? You have a bag with you?
Yeah,
Spoilers.
Ecto One's on the ship with them as well.
Yeah, do you know how much it costs to take a single gram of material into space? You don't take extras. You don't take, oh, you know what? I've got all this food I've got all my outfit. I've also got this picture of my family just in case. Like, well, that's another $20,000 we've spent getting that picture of your family up there.
Yeah, and I would assume they wouldn't have spare proton packs, but then I just read they do in Ghostbusters too, because then Lewis Tully takes one when he goes to help them out at the end. So yeah, no, that makes sense. But no, why would they take a spare one? That makes no sense. So have they each taken a spare, or did they take one spare? Like you've got one spare tire in a car.
You got one. Yeah, so under the mat in the boot of Ecto One is a spare proton pack.
There's no wheel.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely fucked. If a wheel goes, you're absolutely buggered.
Yeah.
All right, you're stuck.
So then we get more shit animation of them running along, and then Winston tries talking to the ghost as Peter starts mocking it with more shit jokes. I'm like, oh, these jokes just don't land. They're just
They
not
don't.
funny.
They don't. They're not particularly funny. No.
They're not funny at all. They apparently need to shut off the floaty energy converter, which involves going outside, McTavish says. And then McTavish goes off to do this. No jeopardy, just goes out there, goes, there, boom, just.
Yeah, that was just like, oh, I'll have to go outside. All right, then, go on then. All right.
Yeah, and then he does.
All right. Yeah.
So Winston is going to act as the bait to lure the ghost in, which is kind of racist. So instead, they choose Ray instead. I was like, yes, that's better. That's better.
I do like the right. Peter never has to explain his plans. Peter never has to do his.
Yeah. There was always that in the movies. There was like, someone's going to have to go down there. Someone's going to have to go off and do that. So, yeah, they can't do that, which is funny. So Ray starts floating down the ship towards the ghost, and it fires a beam at the ghost, and it starts following Ray. And then the other Ghostbusters are floating around, and they catch Ray, and they all fire beams at the ghost. And then I thought this is interesting. They throw several traps down to trap him. I'm like, so what are we made to believe? The ghost splits into four, or
Yeah,
the
like have they
power?
cut that ghost into four different parts? Also, have we not established that the proton packs will cause the ghost to grow more powerful and bigger?
Yeah,
Have
that
we
was
not
very odd.
established that? So your plan is fire energy at the energy sucking ghost. That seems like a bad plan.
And surely it might even suck energy from the trap as well.
Well, yeah, you don't know that. It could have, gone very badly.
Yeah, it's not very. I found this sometimes with these episodes. It's not very inventive. It's kind of like, oh, the only way we can defeat it is to fire our beams at it and use the trap every time.
Yeah, I did notice across these two episodes there is a definite formula to these episodes, which is encounter problem, don't know how to solve problem, work out how to solve problem, solution is inevitably shoot it with the proton packs.
And use the trap.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. So they catch the ghost. Venkman tells Kira fall as well, and then the gravity is restored as the Ghostbusters are floating around dancing, and they fall to the ground. Ah, ah.
That fall would have killed them.
Yes, it would have. Yeah, or their necks wrong ways. Like, ah, ah. The Ghostbusters say goodbye to the crew as they make another shit Star Trek reference about Egon looking like Spock, which he
Well,
doesn't.
basically, a certain pointy-eared science officer is like, yeah, we get it. We got it the last time you made this joke. You didn't need to hammer it into the fucking ground.
Yeah, it wasn't funny then. It's not funny now. We get another ad break again for some reason, but we've already covered that. And then we get the awesome end credits, which is exactly like the music video. Yeah, so they're walking along Times Square, pointing their fingers, all the ticker tapes coming down. Slimer's dancing along with it. This is just burning in my head. He gets
Yeah.
caught on Peter's leg. Peter's trying to get him off his leg, creates a load of slime on the floor. They all slip over and they all angrily run after Slimer. And he goes, ah,
Are
flies
we
off.
to believe that after every single one of their missions, they receive a ticker tape parade?
Yeah, every single time. Government contract.
Government contract. They got to pay for all that ticker tape somehow.
Now, the thing that's burned into my mind next is that after you get the credits, it then goes into a child's room and zooms out the window, goes, Dick. And when I was a kid, that used to make me crack up laughing, Dick. Every single time. It's so
I
childish.
think it's still working as a 41-year-old man, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. Who else didn't Dick used to do like the raccoons cartoon and stuff like that? And then,
Oh, probably they used to do all of these type of things. It's all the same. It's all the same people doing all of these cartoons.
yeah, note to self, put the raccoons on the list. That was great. Right.
Sybil Sneer.
Yeah, he was great. He always spoke with a cigar. Right, anyway, so that was Ain't Necessarily So. We will go straight into the second episode, which is Doctor Doctor, which is on a different
Yeah.
series, which again, weirdly grouped together on that video you had.
I thought it was the same. Was it not season two?
I thought the one before was season two, and this was season three or season
Ah,
four. Yeah, I think they're across two seasons. There you
okay.
go. So, brief synopsis of this one is that the Ghostbusters end up under close observation at the hospital after being covered in some strange substance that won't come off, and at the hospital, the unusual substance take on even stranger qualities. Ooh,
Ooh. Little bit of
right.
body horror.
Oh yeah. So, same format as before, awesome credits and an ad break immediately. So, yeah, the Ghostbusters are chasing a ghost through the city and then end up by the docks because for some reason, and then for some reason, Peter's making Dumbo train references. He goes, "Yeah, I know again, I know again, no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't," just like the train.
Yeah.
Um,
I very much remember when being a kid that ghost jumping up and down.
it's not really a ghost; it looks like a goblin, which I thought
Yeah,
was
it does look like
weird.
a goblin. And also, this is the kind of a point that got to me. They're kind of busting this ghost and they get him in the trap. And I'm like, who gave you the right? What are these ghosts doing? They're not hurting anyone. They're just hopping around doing ghost stuff. And you're decided you're just going to catch them and stick them in prison.
And also, I'm probably going into wider sort of lore of Ghostbusters, but why are there so many ghosts in Manhattan? Because in the original movie, it's because Gozer's come, it's brought about the end of the world, and that's why the dead are rising. In the second one, it's because there's so much bad vibes in the
Evil,
city. And
yeah.
yeah, it's brought all the gunk up, which is bringing all the dead out of it. But after you've got rid of the two massive villains who are conducting all that energy, why is there so many ghosts around? Because it made sense in part two. They went out of business because they defeated Gozer. There was no more ghosts anymore.
Is it ley lines? Is it because New York's exceptionally populace, so more people die, so more ghosts. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. And who's paying these people to get rid of ghosts? Like, are ghosts really that much for trouble?
I
You'd think
thought
there'd
as
be a tourist attraction.
Yeah, and also I always thought about this in the movies, right? You've got a ghost in your house, you call the Ghostbusters, and it's like, yeah, that's $2,000, and they've ruined your house of all their proton packs.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
wait,
exactly.
what?
I mean, that'd drive you insane. I know what you're like. You
Oh,
can't even
this I
stand Beethoven the dog running around
no,
causing
no,
fucking mischief, let alone someone burning shit with a proton pack.
no. I just let the ghost live in my house. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. Thanks. I'll live with
As
the
long as he
trauma.
doesn't molest me in my sleep.
Well, that's the other thing. Are all ghosts bad then? There must be some nice ones that just happen to be dead. No, are they all
Well,
evil
I
once they
think,
cross
have
over?
you seen? I think this is explored a little bit in Frozen Empire. Have you seen Frozen Empire?
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, it might be one of the worst films I've ever seen. It's very, very bad. But there are ghosts in that aren't bad. They're just ghosts.
I can't remember. I just remember it being shit.
There was a small girl, and it turns out she was bad, sort of spoilers, but don't watch Frozen Empire, it's absolute bollocks. Um, but yeah, anyway.
Anyway, we're going on a tangent. But anyway, right. So the ghost goes into a chemical warehouse for some reason. Ghostbusters follow inside and see pink goo everywhere in back
Now,
containers.
the sign on this warehouse, there was like it had for a start very, helpfully had just chemicals written on the building, just in
Mhm.
case you didn't know what was in there. And then there was a sign with like a no people, like
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
Ghostbusters sign, but with a person like no people. So no people at all are allowed in that building. So who put any of the stuff in the building? Who built the building? Who works in the building? Nobody's allowed in the building. There's just goo in the building. They've just put goo in the building, and then nobody else is ever allowed in the building. It doesn't make any sense. That's a bad sign. That's a
Yeah.
stupid sign. I don't like this
Stupid
sign.
sign. Yeah, that goo is just unsupervised all the time, boiling away.
Unsupervised goo.
Yeah, there you go. But they start blasting it, and then Peter calls an explosion as it hits the vats of goo, and then the goo goes everywhere, and it covers the Ghostbusters, and the warehouse explodes because why not? But then the Ghostbusters probably catch the ghost outside the warehouse, so all is well with the world. And then this goes nowhere either. Ray and Egon start talking about whether the ghost is a class 2 or class 3 or some shit, but it doesn't go anywhere.
It
Like,
does. It does. It gets mentioned again later. That it
does
was
it?
because they're like, how can a ghost go from being a class 3 to a class 2? And then the PK meter agrees with him, and it
Ah, it's because he went through the goo.
transferred, yeah,
Right,
transferred some of his ghostly energy to the goo.
got it.
And the
Okay.
goo's absorbed ghostly energy.
Yeah, which is fucking weird, but there you
Does that
go.
mean
Right,
the
cool.
goo would absorb anything you put into it?
Well, there,
Because
there you go.
I could put money in it and
Yeah,
get more money.
that'd be great. Money that doubles itself.
Bring me some of this goo.
Yeah. Bring me my money.
Bring me money goo.
Right, and then people in lab coats arrive and they're angry about the expensive chemicals that destroy. Then Venkman lies to them, which placates them, and they leave. I'm like, okay, that's the end of that.
Did he lie to them? I don't think he lied to them.
I think he
I think
just
that was
said,
just
"No, I had permission to do this," and like Ray's like,
from
he's like, Peter, you did it again.
Harcourt Alabaster the Third. The boss. Never mind. Bye. Yeah,
I
that
don't
goes
know.
nowhere.
No, goes nowhere. All the go is over them. Back at the fire station, we see Sexy Janine and Slimer. This is the first time
Sexy.
they have sexed her up. I mean,
All
she gets
right.
less sexy
Calm,
as the seasons go along.
calm down, you. Is this little Stu's section awakening at like 6? Like,
Cool.
oh.
Well, Slimer thinks she's sexy. He sexually assaults her every start of episode by giving a big old kiss. Yeah, I don't know. Right, so the Ghostbusters have all the goo off them, but they're very lethargic and feel terrible. And then Venkman says he doesn't want to be touched by anyone ever again. And I've written down, I find that hard to believe. Like,
I
he's a bit of a pervert even in these cartoons as well.
like it. Ray's like, I lost 3 layers of skin, and Ray's like, and Winston's like 4 here. It's like, all right, shut up, Winston.
Yeah,
You're gonna
it's
go
not,
one better any of fuck. It's not competition, Winston. Who
shut up,
gave you
Winston.
dialogue? You didn't have any dialogue in the films.
I've always wondered why Ernie Hudson is hardly in those movies. The first one I get it because he turns it off when he's applied for a job. Why is he hardly in the second one?
Well, it's weird. It's because he's not part of like the Saturday Night Live crew, so he's not part of like the writer, director, creative teams that are behind it.
Yeah,
Also, I mean, originally they said that in the original the role was written for Eddie Murphy. It's like you've got to believe if it was Eddie Murphy, it would have been a much bigger role with
exactly.
more stuff to do before it was rewritten. In the same way, yeah, yeah. I don't understand. Like, it feels like a huge insult that he's not on the poster for number 2.
Yeah. No, he is.
Not
It's
on
all,
all of them. Not on
the
all of
one
them. He's not.
the one I've got, they've got a mixture of proton packs and the goo guns, like that, and then Sigourney Weaver's in the middle of them, and it says
Yeah.
Ghostbusters too.
Yeah, that's the one that's kind of got a lighter background. If you get the one with like the dark background, I guess, but still, it's just the 3 of them.
Yeah, and the same on the original box.
Yeah,
There's a front
he's
cover of
not.
just them three. Yeah,
Yeah, he's not on any of the original stuff. He's on some of the second one, but not all of it. It's like, oh, that feels. Although the bit in the courthouse where he ain't there. When they're
Oh
like, oh,
no.
we're gonna tool up as the Ghostbusters again. Like, we're the Ghostbusters, but not Winston. He's somewhere else.
Well, technically you could argue because he didn't go down in the sewers and start fucking around and stuff, so he wasn't on trial. So yeah,
True, but
yeah, it's still a bit.
still
Yeah, yeah.
feels a bit like you wouldn't have heard to have him in that moment where they finally become the Ghostbusters again. To have him there, no, he's just off doing
No,
something else.
no. Kids parties. Right. Anyway, so Slimer's being annoying. Even when I was a kid, I found Slimer annoying. Like I know he's supposed to be endearing or whatever else, and then oh no, I'll let you come to it because it's probably Party Smith trivia. But yeah, just I've never found Slimer fun. I always thought he was fucking
Mm,
annoying, and I always thought he was weird as well because he was a villain in the movie, but a good guy in the cartoon. But again, it gets explained. Egon sees his arm mutate, and I've written down, ugh, because it is kind of cool.
yeah, it's kind of like next level body horror for a kids show. It's quite fun.
Yeah, like Cronenberg. Janine has gone shopping and arrives back at the station to see Slimer looking sheepish, and he flies away. And then Janine sees that Ghostbusters got goo on them, and it's gone right up to their necks, and it looks much, much worse than before. But the
They look
killer
like
come,
giant mushroom men. Like mushrooms have grown all over them. It made
yeah,
me feel quite unwell.
yeah. Even when you suggest these episodes to me, and I looked at the thumbnail, and there was a picture like Winston with all this crap, and I was like, oh god, what the fuck is this episode about? This is weird. The chemical company don't know what's on them, and then the Ghostbusters go to a hospital. But this bit was actually really funny. They're all lined up, and the doctor's checked it. They're going, and he gets through. He goes, cough, cough. And then the doctor tells him, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about." But then it pans back, and he's got a massive stick, and he's behind a shield. Well, yeah, that
Yeah.
was good. That was good. I enjoyed that. Um, Beckman then reveals they've got no medical insurance to cover them, which infuriates Ray. Why?
Again, it's an odd thing to put in a kids show.
Yeah, again, they'd be like, what's insurance and why does it matter if they don't have any?
Well, especially in the UK, which for our American listeners, it's not a problem.
No, we have
We
a
don't
national health
have to
service.
have medical insurance. If we get sick, it doesn't cost us any money.
Yeah, I mean, our national health service isn't very good.
Yeah,
It doesn't cost us money.
ooh, it's better. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, true. Janine brings the Ghostbusters some treats, but Slimer's not allowed in there as he isn't sterile or some shit. Like, have you seen what they've got on them?
Yeah. Also, you've gone to a doctor and said, "Doctor, I'm planning on visiting the Ghostbusters. May I bring my ghost friend?" And he's gone, "No, you may not bring your ghost friend because your ghost friend isn't sterile." Instead of what he should have done was go, "No, you lunatic. You are not your invisible ghost friend. I'm going to have you sectioned."
Yeah, yeah, agreed. But we're made to believe this is a world where ghosts and humans live in, harmony. They don't live in harmony, but you know what I
No,
mean.
they're always trying to kill each other.
Yeah. Venkman starts being sexually inappropriate to Janine, and then we see that Ray's got an eye emerging from his chest. Like, "Ugh!" That's really gross.
Janine hates Venkman in this. Like she hates him.
Well, she kind of didn't like him in the first one because he was always making shitty comments that, like in the movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe it's just a follow on from that. I don't know. But yeah, she hates him. Q ad break, which again makes sense. We've just seen Ray's got a horrible eye.
yeah.
What's going to
It's
happen?
good. It's a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, yeah. Ray's chest eye is being examined by a doctor, has no clue what it is. And then again, I'm like, why have you gone to the hospital about even Egon? Why would he think we need to go to the hospital visit? I don't know. It just seems like an
Yeah,
excuse. So let's put them in another scenario they've not been in
yeah,
yet or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Let's put them in a hospital. Let's put them in wheelchairs.
Yeah. The doctor wants Slimer to stay away from them as he'll contaminate them again. But in the meantime, they need to do more tests. And then we get this really weird bit where a receptionist asks Egon to fill a tube, presumably with piss. And
Yeah,
he fills it with water. And then she says, I warn you, I know karate. I'm like, what? I really didn't understand what any of that was
I think
about.
he didn't want to piss in the tube, so he thought he could have one over on her by putting water in it. And she was like, "If you don't do it properly, I'll beat the fuck out of you." That's.
But again, that would go over a kid's
I
head. They
think they're
don't know
just. I
you've got
think
to piss into a tube.
they're just filling time. I think they're
Yeah,
just filling time.
bizarre. And also, how's he supposed to piss in it anyway? They're completely covered in this goo. I'm sure they can't even get their junk out
Yeah,
of that
there's a
stuff.
bit earlier as well with the goo, and we'll find this out later when the goo comes off. Where they're like, "Oh, it even came to our clothes," and then it comes off later. It's like, "They're not wearing any clothes."
Yeah, they're wearing like nightgowns or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Then there's another weird bit. The Ghostbusters are receiving injections, and then the doctor runs off, like, and the Ghostbusters are chasing him with injections of their own in
well, it's a
wheelchairs.
massive needle. I don't know where he got that huge needle from.
And they're making like sailor references like "Dar, she blows" and stuff. Like, wait, what? What?
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I'm like, is the goo made have gone a bit mad as well? I don't know. Venkman's now developed an ear on his chest. Gross. And
Yep.
then doctors are using a blowtorch on Ray, which does nothing but, first of all, why would a doctor have a blowtorch, right? And second of
Why
all,
would it?
that is not medically accurate. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you never had blowtorch surgery. Oh,
I've
well,
not,
you've not lived. I had an
clearly.
ingrown toenail. They burn off the foot off.
Yeah, he got rid of it though. The doctor is still annoyed at Slimer being here when the goo from Ray's arm flies at Slimer. I was like, And then we see at this point Winston has developed a mouth on his chest. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and Egon gets the nose, although it took me a while to work out what it was. It's
is
not
that what he
it's not
got?
at first. At
Ah,
first it's not obvious.
right. Okay. And then Venkman scares the receptionist, and then conveniently, there's a news report on the radio nearby which says the Ghostbusters are in hospital and their condition is incurable. But who is who has fed them this information? And they even say on the news, "Oh, this is top secret, but we've got the scoop." I'm like, who the fuck gave them this? Who leaked? Who leaked this
Janine,
information?
the doctor or Janine, one of
Janine.
them.
All right, Janine.
Janine.
Yeah. Um, and they discuss ways they can stop this, and Egon goes on about this chemical is experimental and designed to absorb a wide spectrum of energy. And I put down, wasn't this the same shit as the last episode we just watched?
Yep. Yeah, it's the same solution as well.
They're like, oh, don't worry, it's like a season ago. They won't remember that.
Yeah, but we'll
Yeah,
put both of them on the same VHS
yeah,
because
true.
thematically they're of a type.
Yep. And then Egon says when the ghost that went through it got zapped with the proton packs, it caused them mutate. I was like, Egon, why is it taking you this long to work this out? Like,
Yeah.
he's just had a eureka moment. It's just like you're a really smart guy, and it's taking this long, and you've got to a hospital and they can do nothing. Oh, anyway, right. So the Ghostbusters then realize that the goo likes Slimer, and they need Slimer to drive the goo towards them so they can get this shit off them. So then Janine finally lets Slimer into the wall, and the goo flies
Also,
off the
surely
Ghostbusters.
Slimer can just go through the wall.
Oh
Why has
yeah.
he got to be wait to let him through a door?
It's because they've humanized him. I hate it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because apparently this thing needs the ecto energy to stay alive or something. And then
Yeah.
Slimer flees as the goo chase after him, but then the goo becomes his own entity. I've written down, this is very much like symbiote. This is very much like symbiote.
Yeah. It's got a big old Spider-Man vibe with it.
I wonder if that's when the Venom comic got published for the first time. Somebody read it and went, oh, hang on. That's a
No, maybe.
good good
Maybe.
thing for our Ghostbusters characters this week or something. I
Well,
don't
we
know.
need anything. We've done 165 episodes. We need something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Slimer zooms by and knocks the doctor over as the ghost entity chase him. And then the Ghostbusters are all weak and drained, but immediately put their jumpsuits on, and now they're fine within
You missed a bit where they
seconds.
took a bunch of cocaine. Really
Oh,
perks them up. It's the 80s.
yeah, yeah. Coke makes them feel good.
It's 80s New York. There's cocaine
Makes
and
sense.
giant rats.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, they get their proton packs, they zap the goo monster, and that frees Slimer, and then they can't trap it apparently, as it isn't a ghost. I'm like, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Or is it? Again, same shit that's going on in that spaceship. Um, yeah,
Just
Egon
blow
go
it up instead.
well, yeah, just shoot guns at it, actual guns. Egon goes on about some science jargon, advises if they overload it, it'll kill it. So they zap it again till it melts and explodes. Like, but you haven't overloaded it. You just hit it with your regular proton packs. How have you overloaded it? You didn't even cross the
For a
street.
while. Yeah, well, and it's when Peter says someone ought to tell them they can't smoke in hospital. It's like, a cigarette reference in a kid's show.
Yeah, I
Try
remember when.
explaining that one to your kids in 2025.
Well, exactly. I remember when you could smoke in hospital. I remember going to see my nan in hospital, and they used to
Yeah,
people
you were
that
puffing away as an
yeah,
8-year-old.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
God, no.
The nurses used to come around with a trolley where you could buy your fucking Benson and Hedges and all that shit. So why are you encouraging this? Anyway, so this creature explodes. There's mess everywhere in the hospital, and then the doctor thanks them outside and says they are cured, and he gives them their medical bill. But Peter counters it by saying, "Oh, the bill for their services are identical," so they just rip them both in half.
What
Doctor's
services?
that's true. They never got hired.
What have they done? They destroyed the monster that they themselves brought into the hospital.
Yeah, and the doctor didn't say Ghostbusters get rid of it for me. They just
No,
took it upon themselves to get rid of it.
took it upon themselves to get rid of the problem that they created.
Yeah.
Those flim flam artists.
Then they should have been charged twice. Once for the medical bill and second for all the fucking havoc they caused in the hospital.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't work like that. Peter rips up both bills. They're like, oh, we got rid of it. Well, we got away with it. The Ghostbusters leave, and then we get that weird ad break again, and then credits and dick.
Dick.
So yeah, that was Doctor Doctor. So those were our two
The
episodes that
doctor.
yeah, true. So right, let's rewind back.
Mm.
we're in the late 80s, early 90s. What did we love about this cartoon or hate about it? I can tell you, I hated nothing about it when I was a kid.
No,
Oh,
no,
no, oh, no, no,
Ghostbusters.
no. I hated Slimer. I didn't like
Yeah, you
Slimer
hate
as a kid.
Slimer. I didn't mind Slimer as a kid, but Ghostbusters. That's what I liked about it. Ghostbusters. I always found it weird, even as a kid. I think once I'd seen the films, that they didn't look alike. That there was a
Yep.
like a huge disconnect there, like
Hmm.
between the looks. Like why did they look different? Why did they feel the need to do it? And I'll come to that in a minute. But it's for the reasons you think it is. Um, yeah, or like why were the jumpsuits all different colors? Why? And I mean, obviously, some of this is to sell toys
Hmm.
because if they're all wearing beige jumpsuits, the toys aren't that interesting for children. We give them all a different color. Suddenly, you've got a different range of things to sell, which all makes sense. But no, apart from that, what's not to love? You get the Ghostbusters theme tune, which is banging, has always been banging, will always be banging. Um, yeah, it's Ghostbusters, and they're short, 20 odd minutes.
Yeah. I mean, what I loved about it as a kid, it was kind of like one of my favorite movies. They made a cartoon of it. It's almost like I can watch my favorite movie again and again and again, and it's a different adventure every single time. If
Yeah.
they made like they wouldn't, but if they made like a Terminator cartoon, I would watch that.
Did they
Or
not make a Terminator cartoon?
not that I'm aware of. They made a RoboCop cartoon. I mean,
They made a
God,
Rambo
yeah,
cartoon.
I remember the Rambo cartoon. That was fun.
They
But
made
the
a
Robo
Toxic Avenger. Like, good God.
totally bizarre. But like the fucking RoboCop one, there's even a scene where Alex Murphy gets gunned down. I'm like, wait, what?
It's really hard to get away from that in RoboCop. Though. You can't be like, and then he chose to become RoboCop, or he was just RoboCop. He was never a man.
Yeah, no, he was very much murdered. Yeah. Um, so now this is where it gets difficult, right? So we're watching it as an adult. I'll start with you, right? What did
Yeah.
you love or hate about it now as an adult, these two episodes?
The Ghostbusters theme music's cracking. The
Hmm.
opening credits are cracking. Um, the voice acting's pretty good for this kind of thing. The plots are pretty like so. If I'm looking at this and I'm comparing it to Thundercats, right? And comparatively to Thundercats, the voice acting is better. The
Hmm.
script is better. The animation is better. It is. It's better than Thundercats.
No, I disagree with you. I think the animation was good in Thundercats. It was all the voice acting that was terrible.
The voice acting in Thundercats is terrible. The
Mm.
voice acting in this is not terrible. The
No.
plots in this are straightforward and simple, but have enough little wrinkles with them. Like the concept of Slimer not being allowed in the hospital, but then they work out that it's Slimer that can get it off. It's quite nice. It's quite neat. It's some thought has obviously gone into it. The fact that there are jokes in there about government contracts and stuff, but you're going to go over a kid's head, but mean that if you're an adult watching it with a child, it's not going to be insufferable because you might get a little laugh out of it. I think it's for what it is and what it could have been. Like it could have been like an easy cash grab, any old shit thrown at the wall. Ghostbusters. It's got more, I think, love, care, and attention put into it than that.
That's I'm in two minds about this because I don't know whether it's just these two episodes, but they just didn't feel like Ghostbusters episodes. It's like maybe more the Doctor one, but that space one is fucking weird. I'm like, what is this crap, right? And the Doctor
Yeah,
one,
they're odd choices. I could have gone with something a little better. I could have gone with the one where they explain Slimer, or the one where they, go to the film set, but or the very
it,
first, whatever the very first one was. But I wanted to pick the ones that had a nostalgic.
no, of course, it was the same with Thundercats. I want to choose Slaves of Castle Plum Dogs. That was the video ad and that sort of thing. So I get it, but it's just I look at this, I'm like, okay, these two are fine. I wasn't bored. I didn't hate it, but I didn't
No.
love it. But I didn't love it. It's like, could I binge watch this? No, I was
But
done with two
would you
episodes.
love? But would you love it as a 41-year-old man, or if your kid had it on, would you be happy to sit there and just watch along with him rather than turn it off, as compared to some other stuff?
Yeah, I probably would watch it with him, but again, only more than like two episodes. Whereas, like, if you put He-Man on, I could binge that. I absolutely, or even Turtles, I could binge that. But I'm just like this. I was a bit like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
Now,
just
when was the last time you watched Turtles?
well, our first ever episode we did of Turtles, I watched a couple
Yeah.
of episodes for prep, and I was watching. I was like, "Oh, this is fun. This is bringing back." When we did the
Okay.
He-Man episode, I watched a couple of episodes of He-Man to get me in the mood and stuff like that. And I was like, "No, I'm enjoying this."
Right.
Whereas
Okay.
this, there was bits of this I loved. Like obviously, the intro is great, the exit credits great, the song is great, and yeah, you're right, the characters are cool. But it's just I don't know. I can't quite explain it. Again, maybe it's because of these two episodes that I didn't
Yeah.
think were the best. Maybe that's what swayed it. But I think.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, I'm gonna have to muse over this. So I liked it. I didn't love it, and I wanted to love it because I loved it as a kid. I absolutely loved it. I couldn't have got
Mm.
enough. I could have binged it when I was a kid. I could have watched an entire season in a day or something like
But I could
that.
have watched the same two episodes back to back,
Yeah, and you did.
and I did.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's pause that for now. Smith trivia. What you got?
Oh, okay, right. There's a few little bits. Some of this is going to be exceptionally well known. We'll start with the most obvious one that Lorenzo Music, who voiced Peter Venkman in the early series, was also the voice of Garfield. Bill Murray later went on to voice Garfield. Bill Murray also objected to Peter Venkman sounding so much like Garfield, apparently, to the point where he got Lorenzo Music fired and replaced by a guy called Dave Coulier. Phil Lamar voiced Egon. Was told when he came into audition for Egon not to do an impression of Harold Ramis. Did one anyway, got the job. This is the other bit that I think everybody knows. Ernie Hudson auditioned to be Winston in the cartoon and did not get it
That's
because they didn't think
crazy.
he sounded right, so it went to Arsenio Hall instead. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is obviously quite well known. The reason why they don't look like the actors is because they didn't want lawsuits over using the actors' license likenesses without their permission. So they made subtle tweaks. In the original pilot, they did look a lot more like them. So Egon wasn't blonde. Um, Peter Venkman looked a little bit more like Bill Murray.
Mhm.
They all wore beige jumpsuits. It was all a little bit more like the film. They made the tweaks to avoid having to pay anybody. It's it is always what you think it is. It's called The Real Ghostbusters. Now this one is again it's something that's quite well known, but it's interesting as hell. Um, there was a TV series by a studio called Filmation back in the 1970s called The Ghostbusters, Ghost Space Busters, which was two people and a gorilla who went around in an old car hunting ghosts. It was a live action series, and when they made the film Ghostbusters, they licensed the use of the title, but they licensed the use of the title for live action film. At the same time as they were working on the cartoon for this, the people who were behind the Ghostbusters Filmation were also working on a cartoon of their version of Ghostbusters. So they could call it Ghostbusters because they own the rights. It came out first. So hence, when this came out, they had to call it The Real Ghostbusters to get around that licensing issue. Have you ever seen any of the Ghostbusters stuff?
As in the filmation
As
stuff.
in the Filmation Ghostbusters stuff?
No, I only came across that when I was doing my research for this episode. So no, I've never
Really?
seen it. Never seen it.
So I had a friend when I was at primary school who had the cartoon of Ghostbusters
Mm.
and showed me it once, and I was confused as all holy hell as to what it was I was watching. And it's really janky and rubbish. And I've never seen any of the live action stuff. I've seen clips of it, and it looks really janky and rubbish, as you would expect with a show that
Mm.
heavily features a man dressed as a gorilla. Um, the I had a friend who was like, "Oh no, this is the proper Ghostbusters. Yeah, it's just the proper Ghostbusters." I'm like, "This is rubbish. What is this?
Mm.
This is really, really stupid, and it's really, really confusing to a child to see that and be like, what am I watching? This isn't the real thing." Anyway, so that's why it's called The Real Ghostbusters. Slimer wasn't called Slimer prior to this show. This is where they got the name Slimer from.
Mm.
So in Slimer, he's just called Onion Head, I think it was known as when they were filming. So interesting. I'll get to the last bit last, as I think might be quite sensible. They all recorded their lines in the same studio. So all of the actors sat in the same studio and recorded the line, which is not how this is generally done, which I think might account for why it sounds a bit weird at
Yeah,
times. Like it
okay.
feels echoey. Like at times it feels like someone maybe moved a bit far away from the mic. Um, it was animated by different studios as well. So different bits were animated by different studios. So within a single episode, there are different qualities of animation. Toei Studios, which is based in Japan and is sort of like a premier animation studio, did the bulk of the good stuff. So the credits and all of the stuff that looks really slick and really good is done by them. Other countries around Asia with cheaper film studios, animation studios, animate some of the other bits. So when there's like these noticeable dips in quality, it's
Yeah.
because they farmed it out to other people to do. To what you said, it ran on ITV until July of 1999. So this was getting
Wow.
replayed on ITV up to 8 years after they stopped producing new episodes. And on that, why they stopped producing new episodes and why it got cancelled. I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff. After season 2, they turned to a consultancy firm called Q5 and asked them to come in and say, well, how can we boost our viewing figures? How can we make this appeal to children more? And they enacted a number of different changes, which were untested. They didn't bother going out and doing any sort of market testing on any of this stuff. They just forced it all through. One of the things they did suggest was writing out Ray, which that was pushed back on. So what they did was they changed the look of Slimer, gave him a tail, rather than the rounded bottom they'd previously had. That later gets reversed and changed Janine to make her more motherly. So she went from having the
Mm.
spiky hair to longer hair. Apparently, also, quote, one of the things was to make her less slutty and to make her more of a motherly figure to the Ghostbusters, which is very, very odd. They also started to promote Slimer as sort of the main star of the show, and there was a bit where Ghostbusters went out an hour-long block of Ghostbusters cartoon that were all put together, including Slimer, his own show, which had about 13 episodes, something like that. I think 13, 14 episodes. And so they become known as Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. We thought that was going to push it. Everyone's going to love that. You're going to love it even more. Didn't work. There's a guy called Michael J. Straczynski who went on to create Babylon 5 and worked in TVs. It's got his fingerprints all over shows like across like kind of key genre television of the last 30, 40 years. He was one of the main showrunners for this. So I mean, did a lot of the stories, did a lot of the kind of quality control, walked after show when this happened, said, absolutely not, I'm not being a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Viewership unsurprisingly dropped. They brought him back. He said, right, we need to change back a lot of this stuff. They did change back a lot of this stuff. There were certain episodes explaining why things had changed and then changed back again. It still got cancelled. The viewers continued to drop, and yeah, it was cancelled in 1991. Around the same time that the Ken the Toy Story series actually finished as well, but not because of it. And it just naturally came to the same conclusion at the same time. That's generally what you've got, about 5 years. And that was all of the trivia, or at least most of the important trivia that I had.
Great. I think 5 years is a decent run for a cartoon, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
talking 100 plus episodes. It's,
Yeah. And before Ghostbusters started having that whole nostalgia feel, I think people had outgrown it anyway. Just kind of be like, oh, we're done with that now. Now it's cool because it's retro, but
well, everybody wanted that third film
yeah.
until they got it.
Yeah.
I mean, Afterlife's fine.
No,
It's fine.
It's not the same.
It's not the same at all. It's completely missed the point of Ghostbusters. It's very much, it's more like E.T. or one of those sort of Amblin films. It's not Ghostbusters. It's sort of really, it's too heartfelt and lovey-dovey. It's all about family and coming together. It's like, it's not what Ghostbusters was about.
No.
Frozen Empire, even worse.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't have a plot.
No, well, let's not go on a tangent. So, final verdict. Does this cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters, hold up?
Yes. If only for the opening and finishing credits alone. You know what? It's of a higher quality than a lot of stuff. It's of a higher quality than it needed to be. And I think it lives up to the nostalgic memories that I had of it.
Yeah, I think
it's watchable. I can get bored.
Yeah, I think you just gave us two crap episodes to watch. So I think if I'd had no, and I'm not trying to be funny or cute or anything. I think if I'd watched two other episodes, maybe some of those ones that I remembered as a kid, I might have thought, yeah, but you're right. The intro made me think, yeah, the end credit made me go, yeah, there were bits of it. I was like, yeah, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. So would I watch it again? Yes. Would I let my son watch it again? Yes. When people say, do you remember the Ghostbusters cartoon? I go, oh, that was shit. Oh, yeah, that was great. So when you think about it like that, yeah, okay, I'll give you it. It holds up. Yeah, we've not had something that's held up for a while that we both agree on. So that's good.
Think we've been on opposite sides of the fence quite a lot recently.
Yeah, or we both hated something equally.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool. All right. So then, the next episode nomination, which is going to be our Christmas episode, and then
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Yes, quite. So, and then we'll take a little break for Christmas and then rejoin in January. But yes, so Smith, what is your favourite film to watch at Christmas?
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, well, that won't work at all. What's your favourite film to watch at Christmas where a lot of people are getting killed?
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Fucking version of you watching?
Hey there, I'm on a murder spree.
Actually, yeah, I won't put it past him. No. We are going to be covering, because I thought last two Christmases we've covered sort of family-friendly Christmas movies. So let's do something alternative. And you know what? We've been on a bit of a roll. We're doing horror-y, ghosty, ghoulish type stuff.
Krampus?
No, Krampus is awesome.
No.
Come on. And also, it's not old enough for us to be like, oh, that's retro cool.
Well, I'll just have to watch it myself.
Yeah, I'll probably watch Krampus again. I enjoy that. No, we are going to be covering Black Christmas. Some people argue the first ever slasher movie. So,
wait, which one? Oh, the original.
Oh God, yeah, the one from the 70s. We're not watching those two shitty remakes. Yeah. No,
Can I watch them anyway?
You can do what you want, Smith. You're not discussing it on this podcast. Well, you can discuss it in reference. Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, no, we're going to be covering Black Christmas from 1974, I think it is. 74? Yeah.
Top of my head couldn't tell you. Let's say, yes, 1970.
Blank, yes.
Blank, yes. So I'll edit in later.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's what we're going to be covering. Cool. Right. So just want to plug our socials before we get out of here. You can reach us on email at it doesn't hold up podcast@gmail.com. We're on Instagram at it doesn't hold up podcast. We're on Twitter or X as it's now known, it doesn't hold up pod. We're on YouTube, it doesn't hold up podcast. And we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other places you listen to podcasts. Give us a good review and remember to keep on sending those suggestions through because one day we will cover what you said. In fact, I was going to choose something from a suggestion, but then I realized it was the Christmas episode, so I'm going to save that for the new year. Ooh,
Ooh.
what's he going to choose? Cool. Right. So, Smith, is there anything else you would like to say on the Real Ghostbusters before we get out of here and reconvene for Black Christmas?
Yes, Wood. Stu, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
And I just want to say to you, who are you going to call?